Hello everybody, you're watching Channel 1, where in this video I delve a little deeper into the diagbox and Lexia software to help me diagnose the suspension fault on my Citroen C4. I also say it is part 2 when it is part 3 of the video, and I'd like you to let me know in the comments if these introductions actually add anything to the video, or you'd rather I don't bother doing them at all and just get straight on with it. So I'd appreciate it if you let me know in the comments on that. But other than that, let's get on with it. So first I must start with this. This is what I bought to diagnose the problems with my car. I meant to put it in the last video, but I was all a little bit overexcited about it and getting to grips with it and using it, so I forgot. But here it is. As I say, it's a complete system, which, as you've seen in the videos, you can pretty much just plug it in, get it up and working, and it does work. It's quite intuitive, really, even though there was a big instruction PDF with it as well to help. But yeah, this is what I've got. There are cheaper options available, which is just the diagbox and the leads to plug into the car, for which you obviously need your own computer to plug it into. I didn't have one, so this fitted my needs perfectly. And equally, there's far more expensive options as well. Quite what extra they do, I do not know, but this is what I'll be using to the remainder of the videos diagnosing my Citroen. So let's show it in action a little bit more. Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of my suspension woes, of which some of them have gone away. I'm going to have to do a different video on using this software because it is quite comprehensive. But what I managed to do was I went on this little box, repair, and then on suspension. It did its little checks, into fault reading, and I have this one now, code U2003, remote controlled wake up, inconsistency between main wake up signal and the electrical signal. So that is a new problem, but what I had done with the previous fault, C1196, which was a fault in the suspension system which was causing it not to operate at all. If you click on it and then click down here, there's a little dustbin. You can erase the fault. I know this is going to come back, but that is a simple way of removing the faults. And what that did was that has stopped the error message coming up on my dash about suspension faulty, and it has enabled the following. I'll just pause things here. Now, I was deeply concerned because, as well as getting the suspension fault on my dash, the buttons in the boot that control the height of the air suspension wouldn't work either. So I was feeling either my ECU had failed or my compressor had failed, both of which quite expensive to fix. So I spent not an inconsiderable amount of money on this software, which I say has enabled me to clear those faults and get a better look at what's going on. And now my buttons in the boot go down. My compressor, you can hear there pumping to go up. Which fundamentally tells me I don't have a major fault. My ECU must be working, my compressor is clearly working, so there's some positivity from that. But now, as you see, I have cleared the faults. But one of the other things this software lets you do, standard parameter measurements, vehicle height information. It gives me all sorts of information here, the battery voltage, acceleration, which obviously it's not moving, the rear reference, but I get this, body position height, position too high. The body height position determines the flashing status of the pneumatic suspension warning light on the instrument panel. As I say, it says too high. I am getting some readings here. A rear reference height, initial reference height. Rear left travel height. Aha! Oh, 0. Okay. It's not on even ground, and my right height is -2. So I've got some information there to look at. Clearly something isn't working right for it not to get the wake up signal to set the suspension straight away, which I'm going to be looking at in another video, I presume, because this is just about showing you how I've erased the fault and been able to test a few things, because what you can do with this software as well, actuator tests. Where you can test the electro valves in the suspension, the exhaust electro valve, which is low in the suspension. You can check the compressor, you can fill the springs, you can depressurize the springs, which is something I had done after clearing the fault code, and managed to confirm, as I said a little bit earlier, that my compressor would work, so my ECU must be working, so some of the big bills are gone. So this is a new fault of it not waking up when it should, which I'm going to have to delve into a little bit deeper. That's awfully blurry. But for now, I'll just go back into that in case it was too blurry to see. There, can you see those actuator tests? Where you can test all the functionality of the compressor and the suspension. So, as I say, spent a few pounds on the software, but it has eased my mind in that some big bills I don't think are coming. So I'm going to end this one here, I think, and as I get to investigate a bit further, I will let you know my findings. In fact, as a little bit of additional, I just want to check a couple of things. So if we go back into suspension, standard measurements, vehicle height information. Let's say I have body height position here, position too high. I'm just going to adjust the suspension and see if they move. So you can keep an eye on those too. Right, so I've just lowered it a little. Oh, and sure enough, right travel -27, rear left travel -31. So at least those are giving me accurate readings, I think. And as I pump it up to the midpoint, oh yes, they go back up to the same position they were before. So it looks like my right and left travel information or sensors, the height sensors, are actually working, which is equally good to know. So I'm going to have to find out what this is. Body height position, position to height. Rear reference, I never checked that. Let's have another little check. Reference. Ah, rear reference 12, so it has gone up. Okay, so I am getting at least altering information. So sensors do seem to be working. So yeah, just going to have to do a little bit more digging as to find out what the body height position signal is, where it comes from, and work from there. If I go in the vehicle information, yeah, that's because all the boot's open, doors are open, but there is no suspension fault showing on there anymore, which is great. So there we have it, folks. The diagbox seems to be working beautifully, giving me a whole wealth of information, but I don't know what some of that information means. I will get through it in time. At least, as I say, I have proved certain parts of the circuitry. I was at a point where I was just going to start throwing some height sensors on it to see where I go, and then work through to, the ECU, and then possibly changing the compressor, which could cost me a fortune. But I have ruled out the compressor failure. I can clearly see that my height sensors are changing, and in a manner which I would expect them to as well. So other than the body position too high, I'm kind of at a little loss where to go next to diagnose that. But you will see it all. So please keep watching, and as I say, let me know in the comments whether these little bits at the start and end of the video are worthwhile to you. Because I'm only doing this for you folks, so if they are, I will keep them in. If not, I will just knock them on the head and just give the raw videos out. But no matter what, if you have enjoyed this, hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel. Whether you do or you don't, stay safe, take care, peace everybody.